Tonight, an emotional exchange between members of the public and a member of the Sioux City City Council over that council member's comments in a local newspaper about a downtown homeless shelter.
That's right. Council member Rick Bertrand told the Sioux City Journal he wants the city to look into the possibility of designating the warming shelter as a specified crime property.
KTIV's Sophie Wyckoff was there for the back and forth between Rick Bertrand and members of the public. So, Sophie, how did all of this start?
Yeah, Matt and Jessica, following the City Council meeting on April 27th, City Council member Rick Bertrand did an interview with the Sioux City Journal. In the article, which was published April 30th, Bertrand said he wanted the city to look into designating the warming shelter, which is a low-barrier homeless shelter in the 900 block of Nebraska Street, downtown, as a specified crime property. In the interview with the Journal, Bertrand said, "I'm not trying to sugarcoat it. The business in the area have been very clear that they're looking at moving, or it's hampering their client base and their employees' safety. The Bertrand is referring to is the warming shelter." At tonight's City Council meeting, the warming shelter's executive director, Shayla Moore, among several people who spoke out. She and others specifically addressed Bertrand and his comments published in the Journal.
Is not crime happening at our shelter. Our shelter is extremely safe. We have a ton of really incredible people who are just down on their luck, working really hard to do the right thing, to improve their situations, and they're being held to this stigma that, you know, the people that come to this building for help are bad people, and that is not the truth whatsoever.
Moore told the Journal that the number of calls for first responder assistance to the warming shelter has dropped by 78% in the past year. But in his interview with the Journal, Bertrand pointed to statistics from Sioux City's police chief, which showed 298 documented incidents in the last 12 months on the warming shelter. Bertrand believes that number, the shelter, is a nuisance. After tonight's meeting, I asked Bertrand if he stands by the comments he made to the Sioux City Journal, especially after hearing from the community members tonight.
I think my comments are completely appropriate. I mean, I think the city doesn't want to be held hostage. But again, it's not held hostage to all of the homeless. It's to that 15 or 20% of those people that just don't want help. And if they're participating in illegal activities, drugs, and breaking into businesses and harassing people, you know what? We're going to hit that head on. And that's what we're doing with this council. We're not going to kick this down the road. This council is going to address the lawlessness because we want people to feel safe downtown. We want the businesses to stay and to thrive.
On Sunday, the warming shelter posted on its social media pictures of its clients cleaning up apartments across the street from the warming shelter, which they say attract criminal activity. The post insisted that criminal activity isn't related to the people in the warming shelter serves. Bertrand said those pictures show a step in the right direction.
Sophie Wyckoff for us in studio tonight. Sophie, thank you.